Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. We are at the 65th Siam Convention, and of course, with the rolling coverage of GST cut, that of course being very good news for the consumers. I am joined by one of the leading car manufacturers, Hyundai India Limited. Thank you so much, for joining us, Tarun Garg. Tarun sir, first question, of course, GST reforms. You've actually immediately announced passing to the benefit of consumers, 2.5 to 3 lakh nearly, rates getting slashed for cars at Hyundai. How do you see this development, sir? Do you see incremental demand now coming up?
Thank you, Chetan. And at the outset, I'd like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister Ji for really giving this country this huge gift of the GST 2.0 reforms. And we are one of the first companies to really pass on the entire benefit to the customer. So if you see, because of so many geopolitical situation and the world events, last few years were not so good because last few months, April to August, it was about minus 2% TIV. I think now the swing will happen because CAGR is at about 4.5 to 5%. So I believe with this GST cut, from -2 current, we could go back to the +5, which would mean a swing of about 7%. So I think we are very excited, and I can see that both at the base level, where the car penetration is 34 per thousand, so many new first-time buyers can come in. At the same time, I very strongly believe that this GST cut will give an opportunity for customers to upgrade, because in the same price, he will be able to afford a better car, a safer car, a car with more features, with more connectivity, with maybe automatic, sunroof. So in the less than 10 lakh rupees SUVs, I can see a very good demand coming.
Also, sir, there have been talks about how small cars, which have been seeing degrowth for a very long time now, could actually revive. Do you also think the same, that with GST cuts being passed on, first-time buyers would of course want to be more aspirational going to the SUV segment, but yes, small cars eventually remain at the core of India's buying power. Do you think small cars has a good future now?
So like Chetan, I have said this before also, that the price segment of 6 lakh rupees to 10 lakh rupees is the most critical segment. And that is where the maximum market is. So I don't know what is your definition of small cars. I believe for a market like India,
like a hatchback.
So the customer preference is shifting from hatch to SUV, but the price segment remains the same. And now with the GST cut, more and more customers, because they don't want to compromise on 6 airbags, they don't want to compromise on ADAS level 2 now, because if you see the highways, the speed limits have gone up, so they want safety, they want connectivity now, they want sunroof, they want everything in the car. Automatics are gaining momentum. So I think now the affordability will go up even further. So growth will come, one at the base level. So you're right, maybe the hatches will also grow. At the same time, probably the higher growth will come in the less than 10 lakh rupees segment, SUV segment, which will, I think, probably is the benefited the most. Because it is matching both the functionality aspect, affordability aspect, as well as the aspiration aspect.
Correct. Also, we saw nearly 70% of your, sales are coming from the SUV, and you have a good amount of products in the mid-size SUV segment as well. I want to ask you on the SUV front, what kind of premiumization, what kind of sales and momentum and traction do you think now the GST cut coming in the second half of the year, considering the first half we saw muted growth, but in the second half we see revivals? What about the SUV or mid-size SUV segment in that space?
I think the trend will continue because we are beyond that point where customers are moving to any other segment. Very clearly, everybody wants an SUV, and also new segments are emerging. Look, for example, the less than 10 lakh rupees, this entry SUV did not exist. This Exter and Punch did not exist about 5 years back. Now it is really contributing so heavily to the overall sales. Similarly, the venue segment is seeing such a huge growth. In fact, that has become the biggest segment in the industry. Then the Creta segment, mid SUV segment, is also become very big. So the aspiration will continue, and now customers have the opportunity to really upgrade to a higher segment. So I see that this trend of SUV will continue big time, and the growth there will probably still outpace the other segments. Also, if you see the new product pipeline for most of the OEMs are in that space, that will further help to fuel the SUVization in India.
Right. So if I come to the numbers now, we saw in August about 44,000 odd units, and which was down 9 to 11%. Do you think with the GST announcements coming up, what's your outlook now on that?
So I would say that if I see the TIV volume, April to August was at -2%. Probably we can see a swing there because the CAGR is at 5%. So September onwards, I believe we can move from -2 to +5, which is about 7% swing, which will happen in the industry in general. As far as Hyundai is concerned, along with the domestic uptick, we see exports has been doing very well. April to August, 12.5% growth in exports we have seen. The contribution of exports to our revenue has gone up from 21% to 27%. So I think now it will be double engine. Exports anyway were doing well, and now the GST fillip has come in, which will give an impetus to the growth. And the Pune plant is coming just at the right time. Starting October, we will have 1,70,000 capacity added to this 824,000. So we will be at 994,000, and the new product cycle is also kicking in. So I think all these things are really coming in at the very right time.
You actually answered all my questions that were queued up in the next. So to cut the long story short, towards the last two set of questions, given rising costs, sir, commodities have been seeing an uptick. Many companies, including you, undertook a price hike. How are the commodity prices now, considering 70% of a car is made of steel? So what's left?
Look, of course, commodity prices keep on having a swing, sometimes up and sometimes down. As far as Hyundai is concerned, we have very strong cost control measures in place. We really encourage all our teams to really, reduce costs so that we can pass on the best price to the customers and best value for the customers. We have done it in the past 3 decades in India, and we will continue to do that. And that is why, like I said, we were the first company off the blocks in terms of passing on the entire GST benefit to the customers. And additionally, we have some very great offers going in. So we are really protecting the customer in terms of the price and in terms of the commodity which is happening. Future, of course, we don't know how things will pan out because the geopolitical and the supply chain, now the risks are so high. So I cannot comment on that, but as things stand right now, we have passed on the entire thing.
Would you think, for the viewers' benefit, would you think this is the best time to buy a car?
Absolutely. If you see like I said, the prices are at the lowest, the offers are at the highest, the festival season is kicking in. I think what more can you expect? As a customer, I think this is the best time to really buy a car.
And also, we saw, last question, sir, we now saw that, GST has, of course, given a lot of benefits in the ICE segment and to the hybrids, but I want to talk to you about EV. We have EVs from the house of Hyundai, but still there has to be a lot of catching up that needs to be done. Where are we now in EVs, and what traction do you see towards the second half of the year?
So Chetan, we are very, very optimistic about the EV industry in India. And if you see the numbers as well, last couple of years, they were stuck at about 2.5%. But this year, if you see every month, the growth is happening. In August, the EV contribution increased to 6%. So it's very, very going very strong. Hyundai has already announced 6 EVs by 2030, including upgrades. We are trying to localize the entire supply chain. The battery packs have already been localized. We have already tied up with a local Indian OEM to make the cells as well. We're looking at power electronics. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is on the charging infrastructure. So far, we are going very aggressive on the AC charging infrastructure, almost about 950. But now, based on the customer feedback, we have taken a big step towards the DC charging infrastructure. 119 are already up and running. Many of them are on the highways because customers were really reluctant to take their EVs on the highways. So I think this is the other opportunity. And of course, the products as well coming in. So it's a 3-pronged approach: supply chain, the charging infrastructure, and the new products. So I think we will be very, very bullish in terms of the EV growth in India. And we believe that Hyundai Motor India Limited can play a big role in the electrification. Also on the energy front, in terms of hydrogen, I think we are doing a project with IIT Madras to bring the cost of hydrogen down. So I think that will also help us in really looking for opportunities in the clean energy space.
And what's next on the house of Hyundai Motor India Limited?
So I think right timing is very important for all kind of announcements. So please wait. We will not disappoint you. We will keep you excited.
Alright, so please wait is the message from Tarun Garg, full-time director at Hyundai Motor India Limited. And of course, passing on the benefits of GST cut is what he's really eager about.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.